Hey YouTube, Zeth8 here. We are going to be going over roaming today, and I promise this is going to be the only roaming guide you will ever need to watch because it is so comprehensive, it has everything. Let's get into it. First, I'm going to go over what roaming is, I'll go over what skills you need to roam, I'll go over when to roam, and I will go over when you need to roam as your win condition, and then finally I'll use some clips from some of my montages and show you how I've been executing roaming in my games. Okay, so first, what is a roam? Basically, it's doing something on the map, whether you're getting vision down somewhere, like warding, whether you're trying to go for a kill somewhere, whether you're trying to just blow their flash or something like that, or maybe take a Rift Herald or take like a dragon. You're leaving your lane to do something and on the map that's trying to like win the game or help your team in different ways. Okay, so how do you become a successful roamer? So the biggest skill is map awareness, and I'll go over that for like probably a minute. If you know about it, you can skip ahead a little. But map awareness is pretty much keeping track of the enemy jungler, keeping track of the lanes, and where they are. So for example, if you have a top laner who's pushing in right now and they're recalling, you should know that when he comes back to lane, the wave is like in the middle now because he pushed it in, the wave bounces back. So this might be a good opportunity for you to roam and look for a kill because their laner is going to be in the middle of the lane. Things like that. Or if you want to get a deep ward in the enemy jungle, let's say you have like an Ivern and they have a Kha'Zix, so you're scared for your Ivern, you want to know where that Kha'Zix is. If you want to ward here, like top side, you need to know that Kha'Zix is bot side, right? Like you should not be running in to the enemy jungle blindly and then you're just dying to Kha'Zix. So it's things like that where you have to be constantly paying attention to where your allies are and where the enemies are and always looking at your minimap. Okay, so now we're going to go over when to roam. Now I've seen a lot of other roaming videos and they honestly have a lot of holes in them, so I'm just going to go over every single situation and let's get to it. Number one is when you recall. It's a really good habit, so like whenever you recall, you should always be faster than your ADC unless it's like a misfortune, I guess. But you'll have boots, you'll have Swifties, something like that. So you can literally just run mid, maybe look for a kill if there's no kill opportunity here, or like maybe their mid laner isn't even there. You can just throw down a ward, maybe buy a pink, put like a cheeky pink over here, something like that, just to do something on the map while your ADC is still getting back to lane. Because essentially, you've pretty much, your ADC is alone for like 4 or 5 seconds and you get a ward down on the map. So obviously that's a big gain instead of you just coming to lane and waiting for him for 5 seconds. Okay, next situation is if your ADC recalls or dies. So basically, you're not going to be doing anything in a 1v2 situation here, right? Like the wave, they're probably pushing the wave in. Like this is not helping you win. Staying here and absorbing the XP from these minions is really not, helping you win. So a good thing to do is like roam, maybe ward your jungle, maybe ward the enemy jungle if you know that their jungler's not here. Or you can try to safely ward. So if you know their blue buff is not up, you can like come around here and just ward their Gromp. So if they're on the Gromp, they usually like can't kill you. Unless it's like Jarvan or something, you gotta be careful. Like don't always do that. But, know your jungler, varies game to game. But you can try to run mid. Maybe you can recall and then you can run top because by the time you get top lane, maybe your ADC respawns. So again, like you get a kill here, you run back, your ADC is only in lane like for 10 seconds, like alone. So it's a really good opportunity to roam when your ADC dies or recalls. Okay, next is kind of tying into this idea more of map awareness. Let's say your ADC like hasn't been taking your lanterns, you're kind of losing trust in him to carry the game. If you see your mid laner, like, Yasuo, he's like 3-0 and he's getting pushed in by like an Azir or something, just run up. Just say like ping your ADC, like careful, back, I'm going mid, and just run mid and look for that kill, get that kill. So basically, when your allies' waves are in good spots for you to gank, or if your wave is in a good spot, and this one's kind of debatable. You can either say when your wave is pushed up, you can roam, or sometimes uh, it's better to roam when your ADC is just under tower. Uh, it really depends. My kind of take on this for number 4, I guess it is you can roam whenever your ADC has summoners up. I really don't think the wave position matters too much if your ADC has flash up, because if they have flash up, they should never be dying. Flash is like your escape tool. That's like what you use to, get out of a situation like last ditch effort. Or maybe if their important ability is up, so let's say there's a Xayah, if her ultimate is up, like Xayah should never die if her ultimate is up, right? That's an invulnerable for like 3 seconds and she can move out of it. Like there's no way you should be dying. So you can roam when those, important escape abilities are up. Lastly, for number 5, you can roam whenever your jungler is around. So let's say your jungler is like taking his red buff and your jungler is pinging, he wants to go mid. Doesn't really matter, honestly, the wave state of bot that much. Like, just obviously communication is really big, so just like ping your ADC back. Just go mid with your jungler. Communicate with your pings. Let them know, like, hey, you're coming. Maybe your jungler's like, oh no, let me do raptors now. And you're like, okay, buddy, like, let's go. You can throw him a lantern. There's a lot of things you can do when you are looking. There's a lot of things you can do with your jungler when your jungler is around you. Like, maybe you can even go for an invade, right? If your jungler's with you. So, yeah, looking to roam. Okay, I'll go over them again in those situations. So first one is when you recall. Good idea to roam. Because usually your ADC also recalls, but yeah. And then if your ADC recalls, or if your ADC dies, it's a good idea to roam. If the waves are in a good spot for your allies, so let's say like you're bot lane right now, and you have like an Ezreal. We'll get into like this sort of idea, and your win condition is roaming. Let's say your win condition is roaming right now. You see your top laner like push in, as we said earlier, and he recalled. Now he's running back to lane. So you should know by looking at the map that wave is going to bounce back, and he's headed top. So you can recall too and time it so that way you get here when the enemy gets here, and then he's in the middle. This is a good gank opportunity. So paying attention to the allies' waves is really important. Then if your ADC has an ability up like flash, or they have a really good ultimate ability that helps them escape, then you can obviously roam then too. And finally, if your jungler's around, or even in this play, let's say your jungler's topside, right? Like in this play here, that's even better. Then, like, out of those 5 conditions, you have 2. Like, the wave is in a good spot, and your jungler's around. That's a huge opportunity for a roam. You can probably get a kill here in a 3v1, or dive, or maybe look for Rift Herald. So, playing with your jungler is really crucial too. Okay. So those are sort of the 5 main situations of when you should roam. Now I'm going to talk about like roaming as a win condition. So basically, if your ADC is Ezreal, Sivir, or Caitlyn, or if the enemy, so like basically these ADCs are super safe, right? Like they're farming, they're late game kinda, like they can safely farm from a distance. And if the enemy supports are either Soraka, Yumi, etc., like those type of supports, Janna, Tom Kench, who can't really, like they can't match your roams, right? So I'll kind of get into why these supports. So they can't match your roams, which means, like as a thresh, you can blindly run up river, pretty much. if you don't know where the enemy jungler is. Because you shouldn't die, you should be tanky enough, you can sort of peel for yourself. What's Yumi gonna do, right? Like, if Yumi's running up river and your jungler's there, she's just dead. Like, she can't follow you, she cannot roam. So that automatically gives your team an advantage here. So, like in higher elos and stuff, they'll play other roaming supports like Braum or like Blitzcrank or something, and they'll be here, so it's a 3v3. But if they have a Yumi, she can't be there. If they have a Soraka, what's Soraka gonna do if your Kha'Zix jumps on her in river? She's dead. So these guys, if they roam if they try to match your roams, they should die. And because they know that, like, they won't roam. So that gives you an advantage because now you're in a 3v1 or a 3v2 situation. Okay. So another win condition when you have to roam is when your ADC is horrible and he doesn't know how to play the game. I have a video on that on the top right. You can check it out after this. And you should never lose a game again to an awful AD carry. Alright, so what does roaming as a win condition really mean? So it means that in order to win the game, you should be roaming. Basically, if you have an Ezreal bot lane, he's super weak. Let's say you're playing against a Blitzcrank Draven. What are you going to do there? Like, you're going to farm a little, help him out. Like, there's nothing you can do. You can't engage into that. You're an engage support, right? You're a peel support. How do you peel a Blitzcrank hook? Ezreal has his own E. He has his own, like, escape. You don't need to help him. What are you going to do? Throw Lantern? If he's getting hit by hook, he's just god-awful and shouldn't be playing the game. So you should be roaming somewhere else. And, that's kind of the foundation of this. So, like, if your ally is just trash, or your ADC is trash, or has some of these safe AD carries, you should be roaming. And how much you just need to be roaming? Like, you can just honestly, some games, if I have an Ezreal who's actually, like, won't die, which is, honestly, it's pretty rare to have an Ezreal, like, not go 0-4 at 10 minutes sometimes, and that just boggles my mind how they do that. They just keep dying somehow. But sometimes you can literally just, like, recall and just run mid, and then after you get a kill here, just recall and just run mid again, dude. Like, you're gonna tilt their enemy mid laner to hell and back, and it's gonna be great. You can run top lane. You might be level 4 and their Blitzcrank might be like level 6, but what does it matter if you got your team 3 kills, right? So that gold is worth more than that 2-level difference. So roaming constantly in those situations, like when it's your win condition, when your ADC sucks, when your ally is like an Ezreal, a Caitlyn, Sivir, when the enemy is like a Soraka, Yumi, Tahm Kench, maybe like a Janna. When they're playing these type of champions, like, they can't leave their lane. So I think I've really kind of hammered that point down, and I'll just kind of go over a brief overview here. So roaming is pretty much trying to accomplish something on the map, and by doing that you can accomplishing something, meaning like getting vision control, right? Maybe getting an objective, maybe ganking. And in order to do that, you really need to be staring at your map the entire game. You need to understand where the enemy jungler is. You need to understand where the waves are. You need to understand, if the wave's pushing in, it's going to bounce back. That timing, how do I recall to match that with my jungler who's doing wolves? So having map awareness is really crucial. Okay, so there's 5 times where you should roam. Pretty much in all of these times you roam, the number one thing is your ADC safety, right? Like, the ability that they can provide their own safety, such as, if you both recall, your ADC is safe. He's in Fountain, so you can go roam. If your ADC is dead, he's definitely safe. He's not even in the game, so you can go roam. If your ADC has flash up, has that crucial ultimate ability up, he can provide his own safety, so you can go roam. You don't have to be worried about that. And if he dies, that's on him, because he has the tools that he needed to escape, and he just sucks. Finally, or actually not finally, but also if the waves are in a good spot, so this is kind of like a secondary one. Like, if the waves are really good here, you really shouldn't be like roaming if your ADC is not totally safe. But if your ADC sucks, like if it's a win condition to get your mid laner fed, then just leave him. Like if he gets tilted, who cares? He sucks anyway. Like what's he gonna do? Like forget it. Like imagine giving him 4 kills and then he gets tilted anyway. Like you just don't know with some of these players. So it's like if it's your win condition to roam, just roam if you see mid lane in a good spot, right? Or if you see your jungler around, force him to do something. Get that dragon, maybe invade, maybe go for a 3-man gank. So, in those 5 situations, when you recall, your ADC recalls or dies, your allies' waves are in a good spot, your ADC has summoners or an escape ability up, and if your jungler is around. Those are the ideal situations to roam. And again, roaming to win encompasses having an ADC that can provide their own safety, such as Ezreal or Sivir, Caitlyn. Or if your ADC is garbage, then he's gonna die with or without you, because we all know he's not clicking that lantern. That 30% win rate, nah, he's not clicking that. So no point of you being here. And finally, if the enemy is playing a very squishy champion or immobile support, they will not be able to match your roams. So you can roam and have a numbers advantage wherever you go. Alright, hopefully those were some really good concepts. Hope you learned something there. I'm going to be jumping into some gameplay clips now and explaining how I utilize roaming to win my games. We'll kind of break it down from why I'm roaming, and then we'll look at, the reasons why it's a good time to roam, and then we'll see how the roam plays out. So why am I roaming this situation? Well, as you can see, the enemy has a Yumi, and you know that you want to roam against the Yumi. So my win condition here is trying to roam. So that's why I'm here. Now, is it a good time to roam? The bot wave is not in a very good spot. As you can see, the ADC is probably a little annoyed at me, but whatever. I'm with my jungler here, so that's good. And the wave in mid lane is also in a very good spot. So we've got 2 things going for us, which means it's a good roam here. All right, now let's see how this plays out. Okay, so we end up getting the kill on Anivia, and Jarvan does appear, but as you can see, this is one of the main reasons why you roam against the Yumi, because Jarvan can't do anything because we're 3 people, right? He's entering into a 2v3 here, so that would be stupid to enter in a 2v3 when everyone here is full health. Another point here is I'm only level 2, and their Yumi's probably level 3, like the Senna, but honestly, like that level difference that early on doesn't really matter that much in the amount of gold that we're giving onto this Vladimir or Elise who can, carry the game. So, hopefully, like that's a good example of like I'm coming with my jungler into a 3-man gank here, and it's showing you that this does really work against Yumi because she can't match the roam, and we end up getting a kill here. And then there's one right after. Okay, so in this situation, why am I roaming? Again, Soraka. So my win condition is I need to roam a lot to win. Now, how do I know this is a good time to roam? Is my ADC safe? Yeah. Did I recall? Doesn't look like it. Did she recall? Yeah, I'm sure that Jinx recalled. Jungler's close by. I didn't ping for him. That was, I probably could have. But looking at the wave in mid lane, it's in an okay spot. But Yasuo's level 6. He has ult, and Thresh has knockups. So this is a really good opportunity to go for a kill. And I don't know if you could see. Earlier, I must have by roaming a lot against the Soraka, I've already established vision control here. So this Graves has no idea that I'm coming. So let's see how this plays out. And we get the kill and blow his flash, which is really nice. I think he was just the jungler. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why his ears bot, okay, but it's solo queue. But as you can see, it's a good situation to roam. My ADC is safe. It's against a Soraka. My jungler's close by. Wave is in a decent spot, and there we go. Okay, the next clip. Oops. Okay. All right. So again, why am I roaming here? Well, I have an Ezreal. So Ezreal is very safe ADC, so I can roam a lot. I have a Diana mid, and he's also my duo, so getting him fed, I know he can carry the game. And clearly I've kind of been sucking, or, this game, not a good game. So, we only have one plate here. We clearly need to get ahead and, find opportunities to get this Diana fed. So my Ezreal is safe. It looks like he just recalled. I have vision control here, probably from prior roams. And the wave is in a pretty good spot again. He's stepping up over this kind of like he's pretty much even with these walls here. Usually a good gank is if they're like even with the walls or a little in front. So let's see how this plays out. And this was a riskier play because we don't know where their jungler is, right? And our jungler's top. So this was a little bit risky on our part. Maybe in the game we did know the jungler recalled or something like that, but that is a point. We're just going for this play because we're so far behind. I mean, we have one plate left at 10 minutes. I'm 0-4. Like, we need to get back in the game. So sometimes desperate times are call for desperate measures. So that's an example of that and how we can secure the kill. All right, we're going to go. We have that extra one. This is actually a roam top lane. And usually I don't have any clips of roaming into like counter jungling and etc. or like roaming there because usually you just blow a jungler's flash or something like that and it rarely turns into a kill. It's more like vision control sort of thing. All right, so why am I roaming this game? Well, Sonateric, like that was kind of that horrible lane. That's good to roam against. Um, it's not really relevant anymore, but it was really good to roam against them because they just sit in lane all game and like keep healing each other. You can never kill them, so you have to roam. Like you're pretty much forced to. Okay, so why am I roaming right now? Like, why is this a good time to roam? My ADC just backed, and I'm here. So this means they recalled. I recalled when they recalled, and then my ADC stayed and pushed a wave. So by the time, look, because I got Mobos, by the time I come back top lane and my ADC finishes pushing that other wave, like I'm such a good position here, right? Because I can gank here, and then by the time I get back to lane, my ADC's only been alone for like 6 seconds or 7 seconds. Okay, this is also a good time to roam because my not only is my ADC safe and my ADC recalled, but my jungler's topside also. Another reason why this is a good time is because I was understanding the wave management and I see that Fiora is very pushed up. Okay, so those are three really good reasons why you should roam. And so obviously, or why this is a good time to roam, which is why I'm roaming here. And furthermore, look at this, um, what do you call it, communication. I'm spam pinging that I'm on the way, right? It's from 6:28. So I've been telling my team for almost 15 seconds now that I'm coming top. So they're well aware that I'm coming top. My jungler knows. I'm telling him River's warded, and then I guess that ward died and she put another one down or something. Because Fiora knows she's overextending. But this path I took, I when I like avoiding vision. That's one of the main things you want to do when you're roaming. And by running this pathway and then through into the enemy jungle here and up around, her winning river is useless because I'm in the try, right? So she thinks she's safe, but she's not because I'm actually dodging the vision that she's putting down. So let's see how this plays out. And you can see we end up getting the kill, and I didn't even need to use hook, right? It's really important to hold your hook in those types of situations. Like we can get the kill without trying to miss our hook. So hopefully you guys were able to learn something from this video. If you have any questions, ideas, comments, please leave it in the comment sections. Definitely subscribe, give me a like if you learned something, and I'll see you next time.